Welcome everyone here to News Now from Fox. We are worldwide here for you as this is all happening at Capitol Hill right now. This is according to Fox News' Chad program. I'm just reading some of his Twitter notes to you right now. The late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will lie in state in Statuary Hall of the Capitol today. This is similar to the late Representative Elijah Cummings, who lay in state in the hall after his death last fall. While Ginsburg will not lie in repose in the Capitol Rotunda, she will become the first woman to ever lie in state anywhere in the U.S.'s capital. She is also the first Jew. Civil rights pioneer Rosa Parks lay in honor in the Capitol Rotunda on October 29, 2005. She was the first woman to be recognized in the Rotunda. Lying in honor is considered to be one level below state. Ginsburg is the second figure to lie in state during the pandemic. In the summer, the late Representative John Lewis was the first African American to lie in state. Rabbi Lauren Holtzblatt will deliver a remembrance. Ginsburg and Holtzblatt authored an essay titled "The Heroic and Visionary Women of Passover." It focuses on the leadership of women. We'll also hear a pair of musical selections from mezzo-soprano Denise Graves, Lauren Ward on piano, among the songs American Anthem. American Anthem concludes with a moving final line, "Let me know in my heart when my days are through, America, I gave my best to you." Welcome everyone here to News Now from Fox as we continue to bring you this live event honoring the late Justice Ruth Ginsburg at Capitol Hill today. The Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg becomes the first woman in American history to lie in state in the U.S. Capitol this morning. Ginsburg, who died last week at the age of 87, also will be the first Jewish American to lie in state and just the second Supreme Court justice. The first, Chief Justice William Howard Taft, also had been president. Ginsburg's casket will be brought to the Capitol this morning for a private ceremony in Statutory Hall attended by her family and lawmakers with musical selections from one of Ginsburg's favorite opera singers. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden and his wife Jill plan to attend. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump on Thursday paid their respects at the Supreme Court. Members of the House and Senate who are not invited to the ceremony because of space limitations imposed by the coronavirus pandemic will be able to pay their respects before a motorcade carrying Ginsburg's casket departs the Capitol early in the afternoon. The honor of lying in state has been accorded fewer than 36 times, mostly to presidents, vice presidents, and members of Congress. Representative John Lewis, the civil rights icon, was the first person to lie in state following the death in July. Henry Clay, the Kentucky lawmaker who served as Speaker of the House and also was a senator, was the first in 1852. Rosa Parks, a private citizen, not a government official, is the only woman who has lain in honor at the Capitol. Ginsburg has lain in repose for 2 days at the Supreme Court, where thousands of people paid their respects. President Trump, as we all know, plans to announce his nomination on Saturday, tomorrow, of a woman to take Ginsburg's place on the High Court, where she served for 27 years and was the leader of the liberal justices. Ginsburg, the second woman to serve on the Supreme Court, will be buried next week in Arlington National Cemetery beside her husband, Martin, who died back in 2010.
Significant in the fact that there's only been more than 30 people who have ever lied in state inside the U.S. Capitol, and the fact that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the first woman to lie.
Ginsburg was born Joan Ruth Bader on March 15th, 1933 in Brooklyn, New York, the second daughter of Nathan and Celia Bader. She grew up in a low-income, working-class neighborhood in Brooklyn. Ginsburg's mother, who was a major influence in her life, taught her the value of independence and a good education. Ginsburg earned her bachelor's degree in government from Cornell University in 1954, finishing first in her class. She married law student Martin Ginsburg that same year. The early years of their marriage were challenging, as their first child, Jane, was born shortly after Martin was drafted into the military in 1954. He served for 2 years, and after his discharge, the couple returned to Harvard, where Ginsburg also enrolled. At Harvard, Ginsburg learned to balance life as a mother and her new role as a law student. She also encountered a very male-dominated, hostile environment with only 8 other females in her class of more than 500. The women were chided by the law's school deans for taking the places of qualified males, but Ginsburg pressed on and excelled academically, eventually becoming the first female member of the prestigious Harvard Law Review. Then another challenge. Martin contracted testicular cancer in 1956, requiring intensive treatment and rehabilitation. Ginsburg attended to her young daughter and ailing husband, taking notes for him in classes while she continued her own law studies. Martin recovered, graduated from law school, and accepted a position at a New York law firm. To join her husband in New York City, Ginsburg transferred to Columbia Law School, where she was elected to the school's law review. She graduated first in her class in 1959. Despite her outstanding academic record, however, Ginsburg continued to encounter gender discrimination while seeking employment after graduation. After clerking for U.S. District Judge Edmund Palmieri, Ginsburg taught at Rutgers University Law School and at Columbia, where she became the school's first female tenured professor. During the 1970s, she also served as the director of the Women's Rights Project and the American Civil Liberties Union, for which she argued 6 landmark cases on gender equality before the U.S. Supreme Court. However, Ginsburg also believed that the law was gender blind and all groups were entitled to equal rights. One of the 5 cases she won before the Supreme Court involved a portion of the Social Security Act that favored women over men because it granted certain benefits to widows but not widowers. In 1980, President Carter appointed Ginsburg to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. She served there until she was appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court in 1993 by President Bill Clinton. Selected to fill the seat vacated by Justice Byron White, President Clinton wanted a replacement with the intellect and political skills to deal with the more conservative members of the court. The Senate Judiciary Committee hearings were unusually friendly despite frustration expressed by some senators over Ginsburg's evasive answers to hypothetical situations. Several expressed concern over how she could transition from social advocate to Supreme Court justice. In the end, she was confirmed easily by the Senate, 96-3. As a judge, Ginsburg favored caution, moderation, and restraint. She was considered part of the Supreme Court's moderate liberal bloc, presenting a strong voice in favor of gender equality, the rights of workers, and the separation of church and state. In 1996, Ginsburg wrote the Supreme Court's landmark decision in United States v. Virginia, which held that the state-supported Virginia Military Institute could not refuse to admit women. In 1999, she won the American Bar Association's Thurgood Marshall Award for her contributions to gender equality and civil rights. Despite her reputation for restrained writing, she gathered considerable attention for her dissenting opinion in the case of Bush versus Gore, which effectively decided the 2000 presidential election between George W. Bush and Al Gore. Objecting to the court's majority opinion favoring Bush, Ginsburg deliberately concluded her decision with the words, "I dissent," a significant departure from the tradition of including the adverb respectfully. And just moments ago, we did see Joe Biden and Jill Biden awaiting the ceremony inside of the U.S. Capitol. On June 27, 2010, Ginsburg's husband died of cancer. She described Martin as her biggest booster and, quote, "the only young man I dated who cared that I had a brain." Married for 56 years, the relationship between Ginsburg and Martin was said to differ from the norm. Martin was gregarious, loved to entertain and tell jokes, while Ginsburg was serious, soft-spoken, and shy. Martin provided a reason for their successful union, saying, "My wife doesn't give me any advice about cooking, and I don't give her any advice about the law." A day after her husband's death, she was at work on the court for the last day of the 2010 term. It looks like we do have now members of the U.S. House, also law clerks, coming right outside of the doors of the U.S. Capitol. Some other historic rulings. In 2015, Ginsburg sided with the majority in two landmark Supreme Court rulings. And here we go. Now the casket, we'll get to that in just a little bit, but I do want to take now the sounds full here as the late Justice Ruth Ginsburg casket is now coming out of the hearse.
Forward, march. Step, march. Ready, step. Forward, march. Mark time. Bearers, halt. Ready, step. 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 Ready, stop. 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 Forward, march. Mark time, bears, halt. Center, face. Side step, march. Art time. Bears, halt. Center, face. March. Ready, face. Forward, march.
Forward. Forward. Forward.
March time. Bears, halt. Center, face. Ready, face. Forward, march.
Forward. 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 Forward.
Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the United States House of Representatives.
It is with profound sorrow and deep sympathy to the Ginsburg family that I have the high honor to welcome Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg to lie in state in the Capitol of the United States. She does so on a catafalque built for Abraham Lincoln. May she rest in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Denise Graves, accompanied by Ms. Laura Ward. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Lauren Holtzblatt.
Madam Speaker, Vice President Biden, Senator Harris, and to all of our leaders who are gathered today, thank you. Psalms 118, verse 5. Min hametzar karatia Anani v'merchavya min hametzar karatia Anani v'merchavya Tidai, 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 yadai, nadai. From the narrow straits, I call out to you. You, God, answered me with expanse. In the chambers of Justice Ginsburg hangs a framed piece of art that reads, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof. Justice, justice, you must pursue. A command in the 16th chapter of Deuteronomy. The rabbinic tradition assigns meaning to every single word in the Torah. So there must be a reason why tzedek, justice, is written twice. The repetition here teaches Ibn Ezra, a medieval rabbi, that time and time again, all of the days of your life, you must pursue justice. This was how Justice Ginsburg lived her life. Justice did not arrive like a lightning bolt, but rather through dogged persistence. All the days of her life. Real change, she said, enduring change, happens one step at a time. She faced many obstacles in her life, even from a young age. Though chosen as the valedictorian of her high school class, she gave no graduation speech. Instead, she grieved at home with her father after burying her beloved mother one day before graduation. Her family had already suffered terrible loss with the death of her sister when Justice Ginsburg was only 14 months old. But Justice Ginsburg kept rising. A full scholarship to Cornell University and only one of 9 women in her Harvard Law School class. After transferring to Columbia Law School, she graduated first in her class, yet she could not find a job. No firm in New York would hire her because she was a woman. These obstacles didn't deter her. She pressed on. As she said in an interview with her dear friend, Nina Totenberg, and I quote, "I get out of law school with top grades. No law firm in the city of New York will hire me. I end up teaching. That gave me time to devote to the movement of evening out the rights excuse me, of women and men. I was nominated to a vacancy on the DC Circuit. Justice O'Connor once said to me, suppose we had come of age in a time when women lawyers were welcome at the bar. You know what? Today we would have been retired partners from some large law firm. But because the route was not open to us, we had to find another way, and both end up on the United States Supreme Court. All the days of her life, she pursued justice, even in illness. She fought 5 bouts with cancer, and she supported her beloved Marty through his battle with cancer as well. Each time, she pressed forward. She returned to work, to the bench, to the court, with focus, each and every time. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof. Nothing was given. Pursuing justice took resilience, persistence, a commitment to never stop. As a lawyer, she won equality for women and men, not in one swift victory, but brick by brick, case by case, through meticulous, careful lawyering. She changed the course of American law. And even when her views did not prevail, she still fought. In recent years, Justice Ginsburg became famous for her dissents. Despair was not an option. She said, and I quote, "Dissents speak to a future age. It's not simply to say, my colleagues are wrong and I would do it this way. But the greatest dissents do become court opinions, and gradually, over time, their views become the dominant view, so that the dissenters hope that they are writing not for today, but for tomorrow." Justice Ginsburg's dissents were not cries of defeat. They were blueprints for the future. Justice Ginsburg loved her family, her grandchildren, her dear friends, her colleagues, and her court family. We all send our love to you. And Justice Ginsburg also loved the court, to which she so devoted her life. A court for all of us. It was Justice Ginsburg's tenacious hope to preserve the integrity of the court. Today, she makes history again as the first woman and the first Jewish woman to lie in state. Today, we stand in sorrow, and tomorrow, we, the people, must carry on Justice Ginsburg's legacy. Even as our hearts are breaking, we must rise with her strength and move forward. She was our prophet, our North Star, our strength for so very long. Now she must be permitted to rest after toiling so hard for every single one of us. May the memory of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Yita Rochel Batziro Leah, forever and ever be a blessing. Zichrona Livracha. God, give us the strength and bless us with the courage, the intelligence, the bravery, and the unbreakable resolve to pursue justice. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Denise Graves, accompanied by Miss Laura Ward.
All we've been given by those who came before, the dream of a nation each generation from the plains to distant shore, with the gifts they were given, were determined to leave more. Valiant battles fought together, acts of conscience fought alone. These are the seeds from which America has grown. Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I've received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I give my best to you. For those who think they have nothing to share, who fear in their hearts there is no hero there. No, each quiet act of dignity is that which fortifies the soul of a nation that never, never dies, never dies. Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I've received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, 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 I give my best to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain at your seats until escorted to pay your respects by the Sergeants at Arms staff.
We haven't started the rotation yet, so we'll wait just a few more minutes and we'll start bringing folks up.
Okay, everybody, let's go dark, please. You're dark. Oh, good, good, perfect. Okay, great. Mark, we're ready. You good, Ted? Yeah, all good, all good, all good.
And that was the ceremony there at Capitol Hill honoring the late Justice Ruth Ginsburg. You're watching live here on NewsNOW from Fox. We do appreciate everyone joining us worldwide here today. We're going to another event here that is about to begin in Louisville right now, where the Breonna Taylor family attorney Ben Crump will be hosting a news conference to talk about that grand jury's decision that came earlier this week. We will listen into this here live on NewsNOW from Fox.
We want the mirror in the background. We want the mirror in the background. We're going to go before the mirror. That's right. That's right. Please. The microphones are here. We'll already
Well, y'all can just turn it. Why would y'all set up this way in the first place?
You all have to come and turn around. Thank you.
Thank you, son.
I'll have you. Excuse us. Thank you.
We'll give you a moment to set up.
We'll give you a second.
This ain't no yard time.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so it looks like the family attorney Ben Crump wants the cameras positioned the other way, and the media doesn't object one bit. So they are turning that around right now for the attorney and other attorneys that will speaking. They'll be, of course, speaking on the grand jury's decision that came down earlier this week. The decision from community members in Louisville saying they did not believe the police officer at all committed any acts of murder. This is all stemming about 6 months ago. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shot at the police officers that entered during a warrant. There was a witness that said the police did identify themselves and busted in. Breonna Taylor's family attorney says they did not identify themselves, and the boyfriend and Breonna Taylor thought that somebody was burglarizing their home. You're watching live here on News Now from Fox. Thank you so much for continuous coverage here as we always bring you the very latest. Here's what we got coming up in about 25 minutes, everyone. President Trump roundtable discussion in Florida. It's a Latinos for Trump event. We will have that for you. We already have everything set up, ready for that to go for you right here on News Now from Fox.
Mike stands in here real quick.
Yeah. Pass me back.
You just want me to take it out there for you?
What are we here for?
Yeah, you can put your mic stand right there.
Hey, sir.
Mike stands right here, then the family's gonna be right here talking.
As media is coming onto the mural, do not step on.
Many prominent figures in the sports world, including Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James and Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, have voiced their outrage against the decision to not charge Louisville police officers for the killing of Breonna Taylor. The Inside the NBA crew on TNT offered a different reaction yesterday, led by Charles Barkley. Before Thursday's game between the Lakers and Denver Nuggets, Barkley said that Taylor's case shouldn't be lumped in with the killings of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. He pointed out in Taylor's boyfriend Kenneth Walker firing on the plainclothes Louisville police officers that were executing a no-knock search warrant as a reason why. He said yesterday, "I don't think this one was like George Floyd and things like that," Barkley began. I feel so bad that the young lady lost her life. I think this was the no-knock warrant is something we need to get rid of across the board, but I am worried to lump all these situations in together. He continued, and I just feel bad that the young lady lost her life, but we do have to take into account that her boyfriend shot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I say, even though I am really sorry she lost her life, I just don't think we can put this in the same situation as George Floyd. It's worth noting, and then also Barkley found some agreement from his co-host, including Shaquille O'Neal, saying, this is from Shaquille, "I have to agree with Charles. This one is sort of lumped in. You have to get a warrant signed, and some states do allow no-knock warrants, and everyone was asking for murder charges. When you talk about murder, you have to show intent. A homicide occurred, and we're sorry a homicide occurred. When you have a warrant signed by the judge, you are doing your job, and I would imagine that you would fire back." It's also worth noting that O'Neal has long expressed an affinity for the police, once even being deputized in a county in Georgia. Barkley also dismissed the defund the police movement that has emerged in the wake of the killings of Floyd and Taylor. Charles Barkley, on defunding the police, said, "Who are black people supposed to call Ghostbusters when we have crime in our neighborhood? We need to stop the defund or abolish the police crap." That was from Charles Barkley yesterday. So, folks, we are now moments away here. We do appreciate you joining us here worldwide on News Now from Fox. Thank you all once again.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. You good?
Also speaking late, in just moments here, Breonna Taylor's family is expected to speak today for the first time since Kentucky's Attorney General announced that no police officer would be charged directly with her death. And the family attorney said today that he is counting on a different federal investigation for justice.
Edge Live Channel 4 will change in 3 minutes, but the Breonna Taylor presser is moving to Edge Live Channel 2.
Protests erupted in Louisville and across the country after Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced on Wednesday that a grand jury did not charge 3 officers directly with Taylor's death, more than 6 months after police shot in her home while executing a search warrant. The grand jury indicted 1 officer on first-degree wanton endangerment charges, accusing him of blindly firing shots that penetrated the walls of a neighbor's apartment. The FBI has said it is investigating Taylor's death. Crump has called for Cameron to release the transcripts of the grand jury proceedings. Grand jury proceedings are generally kept secret to encourage witnesses and jurors' candor, prosecutors and legal experts say. Exceptions have included the release of grand jury proceedings in the Michael Brown case in Ferguson, Missouri. Taylor's family is heartbroken and outraged, Crump said yesterday. They were baffled by what the Kentucky Attorney General David Cameron actually presented to the grand jury. Did he present any evidence at all or behalf of Breonna Taylor? So it looks like we're getting closer to this news conference. We'll bring it to you live and right here on News Now from Fox. I just want to point out that we are awaiting right now President Trump roundtable discussion, a Latinos for Trump discussion coming up in Florida. This is at Trump's golf club in Doral.
Okay. She can introduce Lanita. She's coming.
Yeah, let's kind of step forward.
The Kentucky governor, okay, it looks like we could be getting closer to this news conference. The Kentucky governor, Louisville mayor, and former Kentucky assistant attorney general have also called for the grand jury transcripts to be released. We're waiting on this news conference here, expect it at any moment. After another night of protest yesterday, Louisville's mayor said he is extending the city's curfew through the weekend to balance people's rights to peacefully protest with the duty to protect public safety. The 9 p.m. curfew would keep protesters, first responders, and bystanders safe since most of the violence has happened overnight, while allowing demonstrators to voice their calls for racial justice and equality during the day. So it looks like we could be getting closer. Let's listen in right now.
And fighting for respect, dignity, and justice for Breonna Taylor and her family. We have present with us her mother, Tamika Palmer, her sister, Janiyah, her aunt, Bianca Austin. We also have who I call the queen of the movement for Breonna, Tamika Mallory, and Until Freedom. Yes. We also have the Breonna Square activists who are present with us today. And Attorney Baker and Aguiar and I know without a shadow of a doubt, without the activist community saying her name, there is no way we would have gotten this far with all over the world people saying Breonna Taylor's name. Say her name. Breonna Taylor. Also, we are joined by a man who did an incredible thing this morning. Jacob Blake's Jr. father, Jacob Blake Sr., traveled from Kenosha, Wisconsin to be here with Tamika Palmer, Breonna's mother. And so we also have State Representative Charles and State Representative Charles Booker and State Representative Attica, who are present, Attica Scott, who are present with us today. Fresh out of jail for standing for Breonna Taylor. Now that's the transformation of leadership we need in America as we head into this November 2nd election that matters so much for so many reasons. But for this moment in particular, this moment matters for Breonna Taylor. So if you were marching for Breonna Taylor, if you were exercising your First Amendment rights for Breonna Taylor, if you were protesting for Breonna Taylor, if you signed a petition for Breonna Taylor, we need you to go sign a ballot and vote on November 2nd for Breonna Taylor. November 3rd. I'm thinking early voting.
That's right, early vote. Early, that's right. That's right.
You know, obviously, Tamika Palmer and her entire family, her father is here from Michigan. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Breonna Taylor's entire family is heartbroken, devastated, and outraged, and confused, and bewildered, just like all of us, as to what did Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron present to the grand jury? Did he present any evidence on Breonna Taylor's behalf? Or did he make a unilateral decision to put his thumb on the scales of justice to help try to exonerate and justify the killing of Breonna Taylor by these police officers, and in doing so, make sure that Breonna Taylor's family never got their day in court, never got their chance for due process, and in essence denied them justice. That's why we are standing here today, united in solidarity, declaring and demanding that he release the transcripts of the grand jury proceeding so we can know if there was anybody giving a voice to Breonna Taylor. Because with these results from this grand jury, Tamika Mallory, wanton endangerment for the white neighbor's apartment that lived next to her, but no wanton endangerment for the bullet tray that went into the apartment of the black neighbors above her apartment, and no wanton endangerment for the bullets that went actually into Breonna Taylor's apartment. And Lanita, no wanton murder charges for the bullets that mutilated Breonna Taylor's body. Mr. Blake, it underscores what we have been saying all along. There seems to be two justice systems in America, one for black America and one for white America. And this has been emphasized by this grand jury proceeding into the killing of Breonna Taylor. You know, Sam Aguiar, it's kind of ironic when you think about the message that is being sent from this grand jury ruling. It's like they charged the police for missing shooting bullets into black bodies, but not charging the police for shooting bullets into black bodies. Where that happen at?
Yeah. In Kentucky, in Louisville. In the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
And we question what evidence did Kentucky Attorney General send to the grand jury?
That's right.
Did he tell them about the probable cause affidavit that had a lie on that affidavit, which was the basis for which the judge signed this no-knock warrant in the first place to allow them to be at Breonna's apartment and bust open her door?
That's right.
Because if he didn't send that, my son, well, what did he argue on Breonna's behalf?
What did he argue? What did he argue?
Did he tell them about the 12 neighbors that Sam Aguilar's office interviewed and recorded that lived in close proximity of Breonna's apartment that all said they did not hear the police knock and announce their presence? Did he let them testify before the grand jury? Did he allow the one neighbor who they keep proclaiming that heard the police knock and announce testify before the grand jury, even though, Tamika, as I understand, on 2 previous occasions, he declared that he did not hear the police knock and announce. So is this the only person out of her apartment complex did he allow to testify before the grand jury? That doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem like you're fighting for Breonna. That doesn't seem like you're putting forth evidence for justice for Breonna. Did he let the cops who shot over 30 rounds of bullets in Breonna's apartment, one from outside the apartment shooting recklessly and blindly, and the others who shot bullets into her body, did he allow them to testify before the grand jury? Did he allow Breonna's boyfriend, Kenny Walker, to testify before the grand jury? Did he talk about them sending the ambulance away before they executed this no-knock warrant, violating their own policies and procedures, knowing that these no-knock warrants are dangerous? And it was foreseeable that somebody could be injured, a citizen or police or a third-party innocent bystander like Breonna Taylor, who lived in that apartment, who had every right to legally be in that apartment, who did not have a gun, was only clothed in her night clothes, and had every right to live and breathe in her apartment. Did he present that to the grand jury? Well, if he didn't present these things to the grand jury, what kind of sham grand jury proceeding was this?
Shit show. Kangaroo court.
It follows a pattern. It follows a pattern, Bianca, of the blatant disrespect and marginalization of black people, but especially black women in America who have been killed by police. Because part of Breonna's legacy will always be, just like Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown raised America's consciousness level and attention to Black Lives Matter, Breonna's legacy will be that black women life matters too. So when we think about this grand jury proceeding, if you want us to accept the results, then release the transcript.
That's right. That's right.
Release the transcript so we can have transparency. And if you did everything that you could do on Breonna's behalf, you shouldn't have any problem whatsoever, Daniel Cameron, to releasing the transcript so that we can see you fought for all of Kentucky's citizens, especially including Tamika Palmer's daughter, Breonna Taylor. Release the transcript. Release the transcript. Release the transcript. Release the transcript. Release the transcripts. 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 Y'all, I don't know if Daniel Cameron can hear us. Let's say it from the heart. So not only Daniel Cameron can hear us, but Breonna Taylor can hear us from heaven. What we want Daniel Cameron, the Kentucky Attorney General, to do. On 3, 1, 2, 3, release the transcripts. At this time, you know, before I bring up one of the greatest lawyers, one of the greatest secrets in Louisville, Kentucky, my co-counsel, my sister, my co-warrior, Lanita Baker. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, Breonna, Tamika, people who are in the fraternity that you're in from all over America, a fraternity that no parent wants to be in, but far too many black mothers and fathers are part of, have sent their pledge of support to stand with you. All of them couldn't come like Mr. Jacob Blake Sr., but all of them sent their support. When the announcement came out, Phalonis Floyd and Rodney Floyd and Bridget Floyd, the brothers and sisters from George Floyd, who was killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota, were the first ones to pledge their support. And then right after that, Lanita, we got a call from Sabrina Fulton's, Trayvon Martin's mother. Then right after that, we got a text from Michael Brown's mother, Leslie McSpadden, and then right after that, we got a call from Botham Jones' mother, who was killed in his apartment in Dallas, Texas. And we got a call from his mother, Allison Jones, and his sister, Alicia Finley. We got a call from House Representatives Lucy McBath, who father Jordan Davis.
Yes.
Our son was killed for playing loud music.
Yeah.
We got a call from Dr. Tiffany Crutcher, the twin sister of Terrence Crutcher, who was killed in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was hands up, don't shoot on video, Tamika. We got a call from Gwen Carr, Eric Gardner's mother from Staten Island, New York. We got a call from Tamir Rice's mother, Tamaria Rice. We got a call from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Philando Castillo's mother.
Oh my gosh.
We got a call from Stephon Clark's brother, Stephante, and grandmother, who was killed in Sacramento, California. We got notified that Sandra Bland's mother is pledging her support to be with you. We got notified that Ezel Ford, our brother who was having a mental health crisis in Los Angeles, California, is pledging his support. Dijon Kinsey, who was shot 15 times 2 weeks ago in the back by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. I left Los Angeles coming here. His aunt, who raised him, literally wept for you, even though she had just lost her nephew, who she raised as her own son. Joseph Richardson's mother, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So we are here declaring in Breonna Taylor's name, enough is enough, America. 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 Please join me in welcoming a great champion for justice, my co-counsel from the law firm of Sam Aguiar, who's also present with us here and deserves acknowledgement. A great, great lawyer. We give you Attorney Lanita Baker.
That's right.
I know Attorney Crump has demanded that we release the transcript, and I echo that demand.
Amen.
And we don't want to hear that you can't release the transcript because you released the recording of Kenny Walker's grand jury proceedings, so you can release the recordings. And we demand that you release the recordings. But not only do we want the recordings and the transcript, what we also want is for you to quit dodging the questions, Daniel Cameron. You were asked at the press conference, did you make a recommendation? You refused to answer. Answer the question.
Answer the question.
And I've asked you several times, did you even present any charges regarding Breonna Taylor to the grand jury? I don't want to hear that the grand jury determined this if it's your office that unilaterally determined not to charge any officers with the death of Breonna Taylor. You can't pawn this off the grand jury on the grand jury if your office made that decision, and we, the voters, deserve the right to know who is it that we need to say got it wrong.
Tell it.
That's right.
Did the grand jury get it wrong in using the defensive justification, or did your office get it wrong? Because what we know in Kentucky, and what many of you may not know, is I practiced criminal law for 13 years in this Commonwealth of Kentucky. I did it as a prosecutor and a defense attorney. So I know the law of self-defense in Kentucky. And I know that you don't have the right to use the defense of self-defense when you injure or kill an innocent third party. And what we know from Sergeant Mattingly's own testimony to the Public Integrity Unit is that he saw that Breonna Taylor was unarmed.
Yes. Yes.
His own testimony, he saw Breonna Taylor was unarmed. And then you made you put a lot of attention on the bullet, the fatal shot to Breonna Taylor being made back at Miles Cosgrove. If he wasn't able to see Breonna Taylor, to also see that she was unarmed, then he also was firing just as recklessly as Brett Hankinson, and he deserves to be here charged with wanton murder of Breonna Taylor. If he didn't see her, he didn't have target acquisition, he deserves to be charged right now.
Come on.
Yeah.
Tell them how you feel.
So don't tell us that the grand jury made this determination if it was truly your determination. Answer that question head on. Was it your office's decision or was it the grand jury's decision? Release the transcript.
Release the transcripts.
And I know we have a lot going on, and I've been angry. I have been angry, and I'm angry because, as I said, I've worked in this system. I worked as a prosecutor who fought so hard to make sure I was administering justice regardless of who the victim was, regardless of who the perpetrator was. And that's the only way that the system's going to work, is to have prosecutors, Daniel Cameron, that work for us. And Daniel Cameron, I took offense to you not being fully upfront with Tamika Palmer when we met with you.
Right.
Should have never brought it in. Should have never
I
brought
take
it in.
true offense to that. And you have to know your legal obligations as a prosecutor is to inform the family, to talk to the family, to keep them informed on what's going on. You failed to do that, and you failed to be fully honest with her when we met with you while the grand jury report was being relayed to the public. So you told us we would know in advance. We learned at the same time that America learned. That's unacceptable.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
We have a right to be angry.
That's right.
But I do want to talk to those of us who have been on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We can't let the anger consume us because we still got work to do.
Tell it.
And we can't fully think when we're consumed by anger. And so I've been praying this morning to not let the anger that's been inside of me consume me and come out today, because I know we have work to do. I'm dressed down today because I'm staying down here.
That's right.
Because I want LMPD majors who say that we're the ones out here washing cars or checking you out at Walmart. No, we're not. We're lawyers. We're business people. We're city employees just like you. And guess what? Even if I was washing your car, it doesn't matter. I have a right to use my voice. 2 years ago, I was checking people in and out of a hotel too, while also practicing as a lawyer. Guess what? When I was there, I was the same person that I am practicing law. So LMPD, you have to change the mentality of who you're fighting. You're not going to have this city of Louisville believe that Attica Scott, Shamika Parrish, Rhonda Mathis, and those who were with them was burning down a library. Stop the lies. We can't move forward with the lies.
Yes.
We can't move forward with the lies. We know that we need healing. We know that this city needs healing, and we're willing to do our part, but you have to do your part. And until you start doing your part, we won't heal.
That's right.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here when you're ready to listen to us,
Yes.
to come down. And I challenge those of you who are off today, you don't have to come down and protest, but I challenge you to come down here and listen to the people who are protesting.
Exactly.
Those of you who are elected officers, come down here during the day. Listen to the protesters. Business people who have sent me inboxes, we support you. Support us by coming down here, showing them that we are not just car washers checking people out.
That's right.
There's so many more people down here. And quit skewing. Media, quit skewing the way that people are protesting. You know the majority of the people down here are nonviolent. You've been down here for 120 days. You know it. Quit making it seem like they're violent. They're not.
LMPD.
Yes, shout out to the 502 live streamers, because that is how we're learning the truth. That is how we're learning the truth. Regular media, take a cue. Film it all. Don't slant it. Tell the truth. LMPD, tell the whole truth. Everybody, tell the whole truth, including you, Daniel Cameron. Did you make the decision, or did the grand jury make the decision?
That's why I call her my co-warrior.
That's right.
Not co-counsel, co-warrior. Lanita Baker. Let me repeat that. Maybe they didn't hear me. That's why I call her my co-warrior. Not co-counsel, co-warrior. And Attorney Aguiar, the secret's out the bag now. The secret is out the bag. What a great, well-kept secret Kentucky has in Attorney Lanita Baker. And boy, I tell you, it's a wake-up call to these elected officials, because she represents the most talented, most articulate, most intellectual representative of this city that we have to offer. And so if you don't do your job, it's going to be people like like Lanita Baker or others who going to take your seat. Before we bring this next champion of justice up, we want to have a statement from the family. You know, Sam and Trader Truth, for 191 days, people all across America, people elected in Washington like Senator Kamala Harris, people in the National Basketball Association and the Women's National Basketball Association, NFL players, celebrities who we all called to the protest. Y'all remember they came to the Capitol, like Jada Pinkett Smith and Common and so many others, but Rhapsody, so many others, but more importantly, just regular people, regular folk, black, white, Hispanic, Native, all over the world have been saying, say her name.
Yes.
And how insulting was it on the indictment that Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron didn't mention her name one time? So, Tamika Palmer, before we bring your sister up to speak, I want you all to do me a favor. Since he didn't say it in the indictment, say her name.
Breonna Taylor.
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 Yeah, next we will hear from the sister of Tamika Palmer, the aunt of Breonna Taylor, Bianca Austin, who I will tell you, before we were fighting for Breonna Taylor, she was like the lawyer on the front line leading the protest. So it is aptly appropriate for Bianca to come and make a statement on behalf of the family. So I will ask for the charity of your undivided attention while she read a message from the family and especially from the heart of Breonna's mother, Tamika Palmer. Please, Miss Austin.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, well, I'm standing here today. I'm going to represent my niece in her EMT jacket. I chose this just to have her be a part of us today. Also, I just want to shout out to our family. It's been a long 6 months, and it's been a wild roller coaster. Not only have we been out here fighting for justice for Breonna, but we are continuing to lose our family members to cancer, to COVID, to being murdered. And so my messages to you is just cry your tears, lift your head up, and keep stepping.
I hear you, Bianca.
And most of you know this has been emotionally, mentally, and physically draining for my sister. So I'm going to do the honor and read her thoughts after Daniel Cameron's decision. And I quote, "I never had faith in Daniel Cameron to begin with.
Amen.
I knew he was too inexperienced to deal with a job of this caliber. I knew he had already chosen to be on the wrong side of the law. The moment he wanted the grand jury to make the decision, what I had hoped is that he knew he had the power to do the right thing, that he had the power to start the healing of this city, that he had the power to help men over 400 years of oppression. What he helped me realize is that it will always be us against them, that we are never safe when it comes to them. Mattingly, in an email, called us animals and thugs. It's clear that that is the way that they will always see us. I was reassured Wednesday of why I have no faith in the legal system, in the police, in the law that are not made to protect us black and brown people. But when I speak on it, I'm considered an angry black woman. But know this, I am an angry black woman. I am not angry for the reasons that you would like me to be.
That's right.
I'm sorry. But angry because our black women keep dying at the hands of police officers. And black men. Okay. Angry because our children are dying at the hands of police officers. And I'm angry because this nation is learning that our black women dying at the hands of police officers, and this is not okay. You can take the dog out of the fight, but you can't take the fight out of the dog.
Say it again. Say it again.
For lack of better terms, bark, bark for being the dog still standing to fight.
Yeah.
I knew Cameron would never do his job, but what I do know is that him and countless others will go to bed sleeping with Breonna's face, still hearing her say her name. That's right. Cameron alone didn't fail her, but it ended with the lack of investigation failed her. The officer who told a lie to obtain a search warrant failed her. The judge who signed the search warrant failed her. The terrorist who broke down her door failed her. The system as a whole has failed her. You didn't just rob me of my family, you robbed the world of a queen. A queen willing to do a job that most of us could never stomach to do. A queen willing to build up anyone around her. A queen who was starting to pave her path. I hope you never have to know the pain of knowing your child is in need and help and you're not able to give them. I hope you never hear the sounds of seeing someone cry and beg for your child to get help and she never receives help. Those cries was ignored. I hope you never know the pain of your child being murdered 191 days in a row. Tamika Palmer. I am so sorry. So sorry you got to go through this. So sorry. It's unacceptable. But your family got your back.
Yes.
We're not going nowhere.
We got your back.
Until Freedom has your back.
That's right.
Lanita has your back.
Yes.
Ben has your back. Your daddy has your back.
Same.
And guess what?
I got it back.
This park.
Yeah.
These people that's out here stomping on these grounds has your back.
That's right. Stomping on these grounds. That's right. Fresh out. Fresh out.
Sam got her back.
Oh, you know.
God got your back. That's right. And God definitely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Bianca. And thank you for reading. Thank you for reading the words from a mother's heart. A heart that is broken. Thank you, Bianca. That was heartfelt. Every mother around the world could feel Tamika's pain. We just take a moment for a second to reflect on what we just heard. Just know we love you, Tamika Palmer. We're standing with you. Okay. It's okay. You can get me as wet as you want. What a wonderful soul. At this time, I really mean it because when Lanita and Sam called me, you know, black women are often disrespected. I mean, and we were calling people in the media, and we know it's the call celeb now, but people were not trying to do stories on Breonna Taylor, this black woman who was killed by the police. And a lot of people did not return my calls as we were begging to give attention to Breonna Taylor. But I gotta tell you, a lot of people did answer the call. And I won't go through the list, but one young woman who answered the call, I had known she was a champion for justice, for our days fighting for Trayvon Martin, and so many other families that have been inflicted with this police terrorism that claimed the lives of their loved ones. And not only did she answer the bell, she said, Crump, we are not going to leave this until we get charges. And it was deep to me, Lanita, and you remember we then started going on her social media and doing the Instagram lives just to try to bring awareness to Breonna Taylor's name. And I remember others allowing us to use their platform, and I don't want to take anything away from Ricky Smiley and Charlemagne and Tesla Figaro and Reverend Al Sharpton allowing us to go on this TV show, but this young lady almost every day went on social media and followed Jania's lead, because remember, Tamika, Jania every day went on social media and said, my sister Breonna Taylor life mattered, when nobody else was listening. But then this young lady got involved and had us on Sam on her social media every day, and we strategized every day. And then she said, you know what, Crump? Me and my organization, Until Freedom, we're moving to Louisville, Kentucky, and we're going to stay every day, because if Tamika Palmer can't sleep in peace, neither can we. And we're going to come and be in solidarity together, demanding justice for Breonna Taylor. And for, I think now, over 4 months, you all have been here, living here this whole time. And that's why I call her the queen of the movement for justice for Breonna Taylor. My sister, my warrior, my freedom fighter, Tamika Mallory.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
And if there ain't gonna be no justice, there ain't gonna be no peace. You know, I want to read something to you all that I learned of just the day after Daniel Cameron's decision. It says, it is a great honor to receive the endorsement of the bipartisan Kentucky Fraternal Order of Police. To the men and women in blue, I pledge to be your advocate and your voice every day. When I first got into this race, I did so to bring focus to the public safety challenge of our lifetime, the drug crisis. And there is so much work to be done to fight this epidemic. I am humbled to have this endorsement, and as a chief law enforcement officer in Kentucky, I will work every day to make our communities safer and our families and citizens more secure. Half of that statement is from Daniel Cameron when he received the endorsement of the FOP, one of the most racist organizations that exist in America. I got time today.
Okay. And receipts.
And half of that statement was a lie. Daniel Cameron is not here to protect citizens and to make the state of Kentucky safer. But he was honest about one part, and that is that he is an advocate for police, and that he was going to be their voice and to do whatever is necessary to protect them. And so we learned that he's a man of his word as it relates to his relationship to police. He protected the police. And it did not matter to him one bit that those same officers could have ran in his black mama's house and shot her to death. He's more committed to the white supremacy that he is upholding. He mentioned at the press conference, which I thought was quite interesting, that he's a black man. And as I laid and cried and hurt for Tamika Palmer and for Breonna Taylor and for Kenny Walker and for Jania, who we need to love up on. As I laid there and I thought about him saying he's a black man, I thought about the ships that went into Fort Monroe and Jamestown with our people on them over 400 years ago. And how there were also black men on those ships that were responsible for bringing our people over here. Daniel Cameron is no different than the sellout Negroes that sold our people into slavery.
She said it.
And helped white men to capture our people, to abuse them and to traffic them while our women were raped, while our men were raped by savages. That is who you are, Daniel Cameron. You are a coward. You are a sellout, and you were used by the system to harm your own mama, your own black mama. We have no respect for you. No respect for your black skin. Because all of our skin folk ain't our kin folk, and you do not belong to black people at all.
My Lord. Okay.
We learned that on the same exact day that this announcement came out, it was the day that in September of, I forget the year, 1955. 65. No, 1955, which was 65 years ago. Emmett Till was also killed again. Denied justice. Because the two white officers responsible for, the two white men, excuse me, responsible for killing him were let free. That happened on the same day. Now, I don't know if it's just that Daniel Cameron is stupid,
He loves history.
or that he is very, very, very clear about history and made a decision to wait 6 months and come forward with this announcement, this garbage that we received on the exact same day that Emmett Till's family received the same result.
And the Historical Society.
And the
You better talk, girl. You better talk. You better talk.
But I want you to understand how wicked he is.
That's right.
How wicked he is. And how wicked this system is.
The whole damn thing.
Attorney Sam Aguiar, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I gotta say it. Y'all know I push the envelope too far all the time.
That's all right.
Attorney Sam Aguiar said he spoke to the Attorney General's office and told them, do not have Tamika Palmer come all the way to Frankfurt, which is an hour drive away, to hear bad news and have to drive back. Do not do that to her. You can call on the telephone to tell her bad news. And that wicked man called for her to come there anyway and had this black mama to have to drive home with her sister and her family after hearing that they didn't even mention her daughter's name in the damn indictment process in this grand jury hearing.
Come on.
How dare you? What kind of man are you? How dare you?
Coward.
And we are not going home. We will make sure that this city is as uncomfortable as it can be, and we intend to travel across the state of Kentucky and make sure that in every corner of this state they know who you are, Daniel Cameron, and who is upholding the system of white supremacy that continues to oppress our people. The last thing we will say is, Mayor Fisher, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Do not think for one moment that you're going to hide behind a settlement or hide behind reform that we are happy to see that you actually support it, but it must be implemented, and we have to make sure that that work is done.
That's real. That's real.
But the main thing that matters at this point, you can have the National Guard, the Army, the white militia, the whoever you want to have here, LMPD, whoever you want to have. Anybody, turn them loose.
We ain't scared.
Turn them loose.
Tell them, turn them loose. But until you fire those cops, until your investigation returns the results that the police officers who murdered, they said they were mad at me for using the language murder. I said what I said. They murdered Breonna Taylor. And until those officers are fired from this department, I promise you promise you, we will continue to make these streets hot. Now, and today at 5 o'clock, just for anybody who's wondering when to meet us, we're going to be outside. We're going to be outside. The last thing I want to tell you all is that I'm a visitor, so I observe. And our team, we don't live here permanently, but we temporarily live here. And we observe a lot. So last night, as we broke curfew, because that's what we do. That's what we do. Every night. And we prepared for whatever that means. We drove around and we noticed that there were some other people breaking curfew. There was other people breaking curfew.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
And we were rushing from a meeting to try to get to a church that is being a place of sanctuary for protesters so that they can be inside, because that's what y'all said y'all wanted us to do, was to be inside. Am I right about that? And so these folks were on their way to go inside and to disrespect the state representative, Attica Scott, Shamika Parrish, who is a leader in this community, and other women, other black women, and other individuals, and to say that they were actually burning down something. As Attorney Lanita Baker says, it is despicable. It's despicable, and you are liars. But as I was riding around and we saw all these people in one place at a Shell gas station that is not far from here, Jefferson and First, I was looking and I said, wait, we got to stop, because is that the police? Is it the military? No, it was the white militia. And it was after 9 o'clock and they were breaking curfew with me. That's right. So what I want to know is it okay for us to even be at a church? Right. And they can be outside, but we can't be at a church. I thought Mayor Fisher said that he wanted the churches and the mosque and other places to open up. Why were they arrested last night, and yet the white militia was allowed to be outside after 9 o'clock? Because they said, listen, Louisville residents, I want you to be clear about what they said. They said that the owner of the Shell gas station, had the white militia on their property to protect them. So they're telling you who they with. So if you continue to go to the Shell gas station as a person, a black person in this city, or any person who claims to support our cause, you got it twisted.
Boycott Baiters.
You boycott Baiters immediately. We have no reason to go back to that gas station since they are standing with the white militia.
What's that address again?
And it's on.
What's that address?
First and Jefferson. And they shot, and one of their white employees shot a black man down there the other day. And ironically, they put out video of some people in the store throwing things down on the ground afterwards, but they never showed that the reason why that even happened was because a black man was shot there, and they held the man who shot him inside the store for 2 hours to protect him. And the question I have for the media is, where is that story? Why is it that people don't know a black man was shot at a Shell station and the white militia is being allowed to stand outside there and protect them? So I'm done. But I want to tell you that what has actually happened is that, one, Breonna Taylor has brought us together. And we will never be separated. And number two, we are prepared to fight until our own death, if it is necessary. Not just for her, but for every single little Breonna Taylor that is watching us, not for what Dr. King did, not for what Coretta Scott King did, not for what those did in the past. They want to know what this generation is going to do to stand for freedom and justice. And I'm telling you, we didn't come to play. God bless you.
Hey, that that's why we, can we go bring it back? Let's get Mr. Blake in there. She's coming.
She's coming.
All right. Hey, that's why we call her the queen of this movement. And I will tell you, it's so important that we...
All right, folks, we have been listening to this news conference there. Breonna Taylor's family speaking out. They're demanding grand jury transcripts being released. We're now going to another event here that continues on right here on NewsNOW from Fox, taking you out to Miami, where President Trump is hosting a roundtable called Latinos for Trump Coalition.
Projects to invest in equipment and people. So thank you for that, and I hope people understand the importance of continuity. We have to keep this fight. We have to keep the tax reform and the help to small businesses for years to come. So
right. Thank you very much. So those tax cuts that help so many businesses, including small businesses, they will be gone if Biden gets in. You know they're going to wipe them out. So just remember that, and it won't be the same.